Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. Let's start with question number 1. A manufacturer of consumer goods has purchased one of its distributors. The distributor's inventory system is archaic and will not integrate into the manufacturer's enterprise resource planning ERP system. Which of the following approaches is the most appropriate long-term solution for the manufacturer? Option A, buy a complete ERP system that includes seamlessly integrated distribution. Option B, run the existing warehouse inventory system and update the ERP system manually. Option C, hire a software contractor to write an interface with batch update to the ERP system. Option D, buy a warehouse management system that integrates into the ERP system. So let's evaluate option A. Buy a complete ERP system that includes seamlessly integrated distribution. This is not a wise approach. There are two reasons for it. One major reason is that buying a complete ERP system will be extremely costly. And number two, you will have to transfer your old data into a new system, which is another hassle. Therefore, this is not the wise choice. Let's see what we have in option B. Run the existing warehouse inventory system and update the ERP system manually. Again, this is not feasible and a permanent solution. What if there is a lot of data and manual entries are not possible? So this is not a wise option too. Let's see what we have in option C. Hire a software contractor to write an interface with batch update to the ERP system. This can solve the problem, but it is not a permanent and a long-term solution. Secondly, what if the company wants data right away and they cannot wait for the batch update to run? For example, you have received some goods in your warehouse, but since you are sitting in your head office far away from your warehouse, you cannot plan further activities unless batch update will run and data about new goods is updated in the system. So option C is also not correct. What we have in option D, buy a warehouse management system that integrates into the ERP system. This is the most suitable solution for this problem. Integrating entirely another system with ERP might sound strange to some viewers who are not very well updated with the technology, but let me tell you, this is quite common nowadays. If you have watched my previous lectures, you might be familiar with the term best of breed. Now, what is best of breed system? Best of breed system can be defined as the best system in its category. It performs specialized functions better than an integrated system, but it is limited by its specialty area. So companies developing such softwares ensure that their system is compatible with the other renowned softwares like ERP or SAP. Otherwise, they will not be able to sell this system. So this is the correct answer. Question 2. E-business allows a firm to capitalize on the use of systems that A. Speed the receipt of emails between companies. Option B. Permit the use of batch process data. Option C. Permit real-time use of supply chain data. Option D. Ensure security of proprietary data. Now, before we begin evaluating all the options, we should know the definition of e-business. E-business or electronic business systems are a set of online technologies, equipment, and tools that a business uses to conduct business over the internet. Now, let's evaluate option A. Option A says that e-business allows a firm to capitalize on the use of systems that speed the receipt of emails between companies. Well, receipt of emails depend upon the internet connection and the server. Therefore, this is not the correct answer. Option B, permit the use of batch process data. This is just an attribute, or you can say it's just a characteristic or a general statement about any system or a software. Therefore, this is not the appropriate answer too. Option C, permit real-time use of supply chain data. This is the most significant aspect of e-business for a supply chain manager. With the help of real-time data, you can keep an eye on the inventory levels of a distributor or a retailer and can proactively plan for the next production or replenishment of inventory. So this is the right option. Let's have a look at option D as well, just to ensure that we have made the correct choice. Option D says ensure security of proprietary data. This can be true, but it is just a general characteristic. So option C is the most significant aspect of e-business, and option C is the right answer. Question 3. When establishing third-party and fourth-party logistics relationships, a firm should avoid providers who, option A, constantly update their information technology and equipment. Option B, use a proprietary information system. Option C, provide extensive reporting on each customer interaction. Option D, meet customer requirements through regional warehousing. Let's evaluate all the options. Option A says constantly update their information technology and equipment. Firms should encourage establishing third-party and fourth-party logistics relationships with such providers who are constantly updating their IT systems and equipments, since it will help in faster and efficient communication. So this aspect of the provider is beneficial for firm and should not be avoided. Therefore, this is not the right answer for this question. Let's see what we have in option B. Use a proprietary information system. Now, we should know what is a proprietary system. Proprietary technology involves an application, tool, or system that belongs exclusively to an enterprise. Now, if you will build a relationship with a provider who is using proprietary system, then you will not be able to connect your system with the provider, and hence you will have not visibility in 3PL and 4PL operations. Always remember that proprietary systems are not flexible, and hence it is difficult to connect any other system with it. Therefore, proprietary information systems should be avoided while establishing the third party and fourth party logistics relationships. Hence, this is the correct answer. Let's have a review on other options as well. Option C says provide extensive reporting on each customer interaction. Actually, this is beneficial for the firm, since providers who are extensively reporting on each customer interaction will help you gain more visibility and insight about the customer. So this aspect is a good aspect and should not be avoided, and therefore this is not the right answer too. Option D, meet customer requirements through regional warehousing. Again, this is beneficial for the firm. So this aspect should not be avoided. Option B is the correct answer for this question. Question 4. Electronic data interchange reduces costs primarily through option A, adaptability across hardware platforms. Option B, simplified software development. Option C, replacement of proprietary systems. Option D, standardization of trading document formats. Now for this particular question, I would like to repeat definition of EDI so that you can figure out the answer yourself. And I know you can easily figure it out. EDI is an electronic exchange of trading documents such as purchase orders, shipment notices, invoices, and other relevant documents in a standardized document format. Now, if you look at the option D, standardization of trading document format, it is quite evident that the correct answer is option D. Sometimes when you have good understanding of concept, you can easily figure out the answer in one go, but usually I do not recommend my viewers to do so. Never forget or ignore my golden rule that always read the question twice, even if you know the answer. So now you know the definition of electronic data interchange, EDI. It talks about standardization of trading document format. So option D is the correct answer. Question 5. A supply chain visibility application helps an organization by option A, planning raw material requirements. Option B, providing comprehensive information from any point of contact. Option C, removing outliers from independent demand forecasts. Option D, providing flexibility in customer delivery locations. Let's evaluate all the options. Option A says planning raw material requirements. This can be true. When you have visibility about the sales and stock status of a retailer or a distributor, you can proactively plan a raw material requirement. But let's see what we have in other options. Option B, providing comprehensive information from any point of contact. This can be true as well. Let's move to option C. Option C says removing outliers from independent demand forecast. Again, this can be true since visibility gives you this edge as well. Option D, provide flexibility in customer delivery locations. This is also true since when you have visibility, you can easily figure out which retailer or distributor has a lot of traffic and how much amount of inventory we should place there and when. So we have reached option D and all the options seems correct. This means that this is the best choice question, BCQ. Therefore, we have to select the most appropriate answer from the given questions. Now, if you look at option A, C and D, you will realize that these options are talking about one particular advantage or characteristics of visibility in specific area only. Whereas option B says that visibility provides comprehensive information from any point of contract, which is true. When you have visibility in a supply chain, you can easily retrieve relevant data from any point in the supply chain. Therefore, option B is the most appropriate answer for this question. Viewers, if you find value in this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and pressing the bell icon. Thank you. Let's move on to the next question. Question 6. In order to optimize delivery routing and load planning as well as to provide advanced shipment notifications, which of the following technology platforms should be implemented to plan and manage the above operations? Option A, Transport Management System, TMS. Option B, Electronic Data Interchange, EDI. Option C, Enterprise Resource Planning, ERP. Option D, Event Management System, EMS. Let's evaluate all the options. Option A says Transport Management System, TMS. Actually, this question is an easy one. You might get this kind of question in your exam as well, just to gauge your common sense. It is quite evident that delivery routing, load planning and advanced shipment notifications are all part of transport management system. Therefore, option A is the correct answer. I have discussed other given terms of this options of this question in my past videos as well. Therefore, there is no point discussing them, but just let me give you a quick recap. Option B says Electronic Data Interchange, EDI. EDI is an electronic exchange of trading documents such as purchase orders, shipment notices, invoices, and other related documents in a standardized document format. So it has nothing to do with the given characteristics of this question. Option C is Enterprise Resource Planning. ERP is a type of software that organizations use to manage day-to-day business activities such as accounting, procurement, project management, supply chain operations, etc. Option D, Event Management System, EMS. It is the term associated with the supply chain management application where users can flag the occurrences of certain supply chain event to trigger some form of alert or action. So option A is the correct answer for this question, and I have already described the other options as well for you, and you can easily identify that all the three options, option B, C and D, does not relate to the question. Question 7. Which of the following constituents typically must provide information first to effectively improve supply chain design? Option A, customer. Option B, supplier. Option C, distribution system. Option D, manufacturing. Let me start the discussion with a tip. Always remember that in a whole supply chain, customer is the most significant entity. Business, operations, warehousing, transportation, etc., all the supply chain activities are about customer. Therefore, whenever you see a customer mentioned in your options, always highlight it in your mind, because most probably customer is going to be the answer. Now, getting back to the question which says who should provide information first to effectively improve supply chain design. You must be wondering that anyone in the supply chain who is closely integrated with the manufacturer should provide this information about supply chain design. But unfortunately, this is wrong. As I mentioned in the start, that customer is the key entity in a whole supply chain, right from the development of a product till it reaches decline. Therefore, option A is the correct answer. I think there is no point discussing other options since other terms doesn't need any explanation. Question 8. When implementing e-commerce in the supply chain, a company's toughest challenge most likely will be Option A, getting all vendors to computerize. Option B, convincing the information technology department of the value. Option C, translating data into universal standards. Option D, explaining the reason for change to customers. Let's evaluate all the options. Option A says getting all vendors to computerize. Practically, this is not possible. You cannot force anyone to do anything. Therefore, this is not the correct answer. Option B, convincing the information technology department of the value. Again, this is an irrational statement. Your IT department is there to support your plans, so you don't need to convince them. Option C says translating data into universal standards. This is the most logical answer for this question. Let me first define e-commerce for my viewers so that it is easier for them to grasp the concept. E-commerce is the activity of electronically buying or selling of products over the internet. Let me share an example with you. Let's say if I ask you to buy a formal shirt for me online. Now, many of you will take out their Android-based smartphones to make this purchase. Some will take out their iPhones, which uses iOS, and some might use their Windows-based laptops to make the purchase. For the payment purpose, some will use their Visa cards, some will use their PayPal account, and some will use bank transfer. So all of you are making the purchase from a different platform using different payment modes, and at the back end, e-commerce is translating data into universal standards to execute your transactions. Always remember that there are multiple entities involved when implementing an e-commerce in the supply chain. Therefore, translating data into a universal standards is the toughest challenge. And therefore, answer C is the correct answer for this question. Let's just have a look on option D, which says explaining the reason for change to customers. Implementing an e-commerce system is your internal company's matter and customers have nothing to do with it. Question 9. A company may reduce its amount of safety stock by option A, increasing the number of retailers, option B, substituting information for inventory, option C, increasing the number of producers, option D, changing to a push system. Now, before I begin evaluating all the options, I would like to tell my viewers that this is favorite question of examiners. Therefore, please pay special attention while listening to my reasoning. Option A says that a company may reduce its amount of safety stock by increasing the number of retailers. Absolutely wrong. Safety stock will not reduce. In fact, they will increase if you will increase the number of retailers. Let me share an example with you. Let's say you have 100 retailers in a 1000 kilometer radius and you used to keep safety stock of 2 units at each retailer location. Now 100 multiplied by 2 units, 100 retailers into multiply by 2 units is equal to 200 units. So you need 200 units to, as a safety stock for 100 retailers. Now, if you will increase number of retailers to 500, you will have to maintain overall safety stock of 500 retailers multiplied by 2 units is equal to 1000 units. So the number of safety stock is increasing with the number of retailers. So this is not the correct option. Option B, substituting information for inventory. This is the correct answer. Let me share a simple example with you to explain this concept. Suppose if a retailer is sharing point of sale data with you, you can easily keep an eye on the stock levels of a retailer, and the minute inventory level will drop a certain level, you can instantly take proactive action and replenish the inventory. Hence, you can reduce amount of safety stock by substituting information. So this is the correct answer. Let's see what we have in option C and D. Increasing the number of producers. Increasing the number of producers will have no impact on amount of safety stocks. Option D, changing to a push system. Push supply chain strategy means that decisions about when products are manufactured and shipped is determined by anticipated customer demand. Therefore, push system has nothing to do with safety stocks. Option B is the right answer for this question. Question 10. In distribution requirement planning DRP, the key difference between a push and a pull system is whether option A, area warehouses are authorized to order inventory replenishment, option B, materials are issued by job order or await a signal from an operator, option C, distribution centers can order from each other or only from the plant, option D, production orders are scheduled or triggered by demand. Now, before we begin, let me define what is distribution requirements planning DRP and what is push and pull system. Distribution requirement planning (DRP) is a systematic process to make the delivery of goods more efficient by determining which goods in what quantities and what location are required to meet anticipated demand. Now, there are two terminologies related to DRP: push and pull system. In a push system, stock replenishment activity is performed by the supplying facilities, usually manufacturer or a distributor. In a pull system, each downstream facility, distributor, wholesaler or retailer perform its own inventory planning or stock replenishment activities. Now, let's evaluate option A, which says that area warehouses are authorized to order inventory replenishment, which is a correct answer. I know some of you have not understood the answer in the first go. Therefore, I always insist all my viewers to read the question twice. Please pause this video, recall the definition of push and pull, and read the question along with the answer. The key difference between a push and a pull system is that in a pull system, area warehouses are authorized to order inventory replenishments. Let's just have a look at other options as well, just to ensure that we have made the right choice. Option B, materials are issued by job order or await a signal from an operator. You already know the three terms now: DRP, push and pull system, and you can easily figure it out that this is an irrelevant choice. Option C, again, this is an irrelevant choice. Distribution centers can order from each other or only from the plant. Option D says production orders are scheduled or triggered by demand. Again, irrelevant and doesn't relate to the definition of push or pull. So for this question, you have to learn the definition of DRP, push and pull system, and when you'll have a good grasp of the concept of all the three terms, you'll figure it out that the option A is the correct answer for this question. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you have any questions, please comment down below and I'll try to answer as soon as I can. And don't forget to click the like button. Thank you.